Hello, my name is Enenbon, and this video is sort of an update to my Burning Hells Warlock build. In this video, I will go over the changes that I've done to it thanks to my experimenting and people on over at the Steam community and my YouTube comment section. So thank you very much for contributing and making this build even better. So I'll be going over the changes that I've done. I'll mention some things that you can play around, and I'll give you some tips on how to get certain stuff. So just to make it clear, this is just an update video. So I'll just be going over the changes. I won't be going over the whole build. If you want to check out the build, I will put it in the card in the top right and also in the description. So if you want to check out the original build, you can go ahead and either watch the video or check the written guide on Steam that I made. So the build actually plays roughly the same, but thanks to some item changes, it actually is just ridiculously stronger. A few people pointed out some things. So apparently now John's Book of Souls is a lesser rune, or sorry, a greater rune. Mine is still lesser because it's legacy, but because John's Book of Souls is now a greater rune, meaning that we have one less slot, we have to replace Elementium. So currently I do have Elementium, but if you're doing this build now, like if you're going to build this now, do not use Elementium here. That's one option. I'll go over the other options later, but this is what I would do, is just instead of using Elementium here as a greater rune, use something else and focus on getting resistances from gems or secondary rolls. So that is one change that I've done. Again, just I'll go over what you can replace it with later, but this is one thing you can replace in order to keep having an extra greater rune. And again, if you replace Elementium, you have to somehow get resistances, so get resistances through gems or through minor enchants. Like for example, on this thingy, on this chest, I have frost resistance. You would have to sacrifice some damage and stuff to get the other types of resistances to cap out your resists. But even with that, the build is still going to be ridiculously strong, so don't worry about it. Another thing I've done actually is instead of using Firestorm, I've used Inferno. So what Inferno does, it's here in this slot. So I was using Firestorm before, now I use Inferno, and it's really useful because, well, you put it down and it's like a tornado and it just pulls mobs. There will be a gameplay section at the end, but basically this is really it because you just put this down, then you put help it, and it just pulls all the mobs together and groups them up and gets them into help it, and it's much better, much more reliable, and it's much more tankier, surprisingly enough, because you don't have so many mobs spread everywhere, and it's all just bunched up in one spot. So that is another improvement I have done. Another one is on my helmet. I've put instead of crit, I have instead of crit chance, I've put 20% damage stagger. Someone pointed this out, so that I was overcapping crit, and they were right. So I will try to update the screenshots on Steam if it lets me. Steam has been really weird recently, and it doesn't let me update my guide, but whatever. Hopefully this video will be good enough. But I've replaced the crit chance on the helmet with damage stagger, and the reason is I was overcapping crit chance before because, as you can see, I have 80, but when I cast this, I think I get 95. So it's 5% off of cap, but there's no real efficient way to get that 5%. I think 95 is way. It's good. It's really good. It's good enough. And 20% damage stagger goes a long way. So it stacks with this, and it makes it insane, right? So that is another thing I've done. And also, instead of using a 4-piece, so I've replaced the Burning Hells helmet with Weirix Crown and applied the Lifeguard Greater Rune to it. Because Lifeguard is absolutely insane. So normally the 4-piece is 40% damage reduction, right? You see the text that is grayed out there. It's 40% damage reduction. But this actually goes up to 50, and and also reduces damage taken from all sources, including indirect, which is huge. It is way better than just damage reduction from direct sources, which is what you can roll on your chest, for example. Indirect source damage reduction is massive. Like a lot of the damage in higher mythic levels, or sorry, in higher endless levels, is actually just from stuff on the ground that is really hard to dodge. So this is insane. It's insane how strong this is. And if you're gonna do this, make sure to equip Weirix Crown, because it has the orange text that increases the effect of all gems, and basically our gems are even stronger. So again, yeah, instead of 4-piece of the Burning Hells, just Weirix Crown with Lifeguard Greater Rune. It goes up to 50%, and it's absolutely insane. It makes you so tanky. Like, this build went from kind of squishy to just near immortal. It's crazy. I'm currently on, I think, 50. Yeah, I'm on 58 endless, and it still shows absolutely no sign. Like, I can just do this without even dying, like just blitzing through it. It's insane. Like, these changes compared to the build before, it's so much better. And I believe this is the major stuff. I have some things I can mention here. And for the chest rune, since you can't use Elementium, you can use Vampire Lord's Cape or Rune of Warped Banes. They're both kind of but they're something. If you can come up with something better that you can use, be my guest. Like, you can feel free to put it in the comments so that other people can see and I can heart it. Also, other thing that you can technically do is on your boots, you could apply the greater rune cap increase lesser rune. There's a lesser rune that basically increases your greater rune cap by 1, so you lose out on the Dark Walkers, but you still keep Elementium. So this I would only consider an option if you're pushing endless. If you're doing just Mythic 15, just farming, it's not really worth it because you're not gonna die in Mythic 15 anyways. So Dark Walkers is pretty important for mobility in Mythic 15, but technically you don't really need it in Endless. You can just walk since stuff doesn't die like instantly there. So that is something you can do. That is probably what I would recommend doing. So just swap out Dark Walkers with the greater rune cap increase lesser rune. It's just a random chance to drop from dungeons. I believe I don't remember which one it is, but this lesser rune of greatness. And it just drops from just random here, from random dungeon anomalies, right? So that's an option you can do. Another thing, if you have low cooldown if you have low cooldown reduction, and let's say you don't have Heart of the Forest yet. Also, if you're gonna be using Firestorm, Heart of the Forest is absolutely necessary. But if you perhaps don't have good gear yet and you haven't rolled your cooldown reduction to the absolute like min-max, I currently have, I think, 40 something. Where is it? Cooldown reduction. I'm blind. I have 49%, and this cooldown is 5.56, but if I activate Demon Spawn, it goes down to 417, and Help It goes down to like 116. So I can spam this like pretty often, every 4 seconds or so. But if you have low cooldown reduction, or you don't have Heart of the Forest, just use a generator skill. Like, you can use Flash Fire, for example, instead of this, because you just won't be able. The cooldown will just be too huge, and it'll just be more worth it. Just use like Flash Fire or something until you get enough cooldown reduction to use this. So yeah, that is something I would recommend doing, because again, if you have really if this is on like a 10-second cooldown or something stupid like that, it's gonna be so slow and it's not worth it. So yeah, just use a base skill instead. Um, some tips that some people shared, and I would like to kind of share them again so that other people can see, is if you, since D'Artagnan and Athos are true legendary set items, not everyone will have access to them instantly, so until you have access to these, you can use Sun and Moon instead. I think I have a pair somewhere. I think it's this. Yeah. So you can use this set until you get the Alpha 1 set. Okay. So this isn't very good. Um, but it's better than nothing until you get the true legendaries, since they're just RNG drops. So yeah, you can just use Sun and Moon until then. Um, Also, someone pointed out that if you have like more than one Athos amulet, for example, you can transmute it into the ring at Theo. So that's really helpful. If you have multiple ones, multiple pieces of the same set that are like the same, and you want the other one, you can transmute the one into the other. So if you have two amulets, you can transmute one of them into the ring. All right. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I really wanted to share. The build is much better now, thanks to all of the people that contributed to this. It Everyone really helped a lot, so thank you. And yeah, another thing I just wanted to quickly mention: if you're for farming true legendaries, because I've been asked multiple times, the best way is to just farm dungeon anomalies. So this on a difficulty that you can personally do at a reasonable speed. So you don't want to spend like 20 minutes in a dungeon anomaly dying over and over. Just do it on a difficulty that you feel comfortable on. You can kill everything pretty fast, and yeah, and you will eventually get your true legendaries. So that's it from me. Um, I will put a little gameplay section here at the end, so just so you can see like a quick floor clear with this. The gameplay is practically the same. You just spam this, and left click, and you dash around, and you max out your souls, and then you press Ritual of Souls, cast this. I will show this in the gameplay, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.